So today in this tutorial I am going to show you how we can create a complete e-commerce app UI in React Native with Expo. So let me give you the demo first, what we are going to learn in this 3-hour long tutorial. Here we can see a onboarding screen or a welcome screen where we are seeing an image in the background, and here we have a beautiful gradient effect. Then we have the brand name and the brand motto. Then we have few sign up buttons. So these are the social buttons and the continue with email. And then if we have already an account, then we can sign in through this button. So these are the components present in this screen. Now if I reload this app, then you can see all of these things are being presented with a beautiful animation, right? So these things are looking pretty good. If I click on this continue with email, then we are being presented with a sign up screen. And here also we can see similar kind of animation. And here also we can see if we have already an account, then we can click on sign in. So if I click over here, then we are presented with sign in screen, and it is also similar to the sign up screen. And both of these screens are presented in a model. So these are the model which is being presented for the sign in and sign up. And from here also we are being presented with the same thing. And from here, if we don't have an account, we can sign up. So from here also we can go to sign up screen. So that's how it is. And as I have mentioned that this is the UI only, so I haven't provided any kind of functionality here. So we don't have any facility to log in. Now I can just click on the login to log into my app. This is the home screen of this e-commerce app, and here first we can see the brand logo, then the search bar, and then we have the categories. Now after that category we have the flash sale, and here we have a countdown for the flash sale. This long this flash sale will be live, and here we can see these are the products presented over here for the flash sale section. Then after that we have a banner. This is a banner for promotional kind of things and all. And after that here it is a for you section, and here we have listed all of the other products. So that's how it is being presented here. And then if I want to visit any product, then I can just click over here, and this is how the product details screen is presented. And here also you have seen all these details are beautifully presented with animation. This is the product image, and here we have multiple product image, and we have the pagination. And with the pagination, here we can see we have the number which is denoting currently which image is being shown. So that's how it is. And after that we have this section related to the products and all. And at the bottom here we can see we have variation, product variation. So we have the different kind of color, different kind of sizes and all. And then we have the add to cart and the buy now button. So that's how it is. So let's go to another product. So here also we can see similar kind of thing, right? And then at the bottom here we can see we have this custom bottom tab bar. And for this tab bar also, if I visit any other screen, let's go to explore screen. So let's click here, and here you can see this particular colored line is being animated. When I have clicked on this thing have been animated. And here also all these components are being presented with animation, right? So it is not only the UI, it is the animation also which makes the user experience much more better for the app. So that's how it is. You will learn how to create this bottom tab navigator from scratch as well. And this is the explorer screen. Here I haven't provided much details. So here you can create similar kind of screen, like this is the category. If I click over here, then it will present the product details, and those kind of products will be similar to this, right? So we can use the same component for this screen. Like if I click on clothes, then the products related to this clothes categories will be appeared similar to this layout. That is why I haven't created that. You can create that based upon the codes presented over here, right? Then we have the notifications, and here we can see we have the notifications presented like this, which is pretty simple, but it is doing the purpose. It is looking good. and then we have the cart, and here in the cart you can see there are lots of things. First we can notice that for the cart here we can see we have a badge. Here this number 3 denotes this many products is now in the cart, and here for the design purpose I have displayed many products which can fill the screen. So here for this layout we can see we have the product image and the product details, then we have this trash icon to delete the product, then we have this quantity control, and then we have this favorite icon, and here at the bottom we have this checkout button and the total price of the cart, and then finally we have this profile screen. For the profile also you can see this is completely customized bottom tab bar, and for this tab bar instead of using any icon we are using the user image. So this is the user image which is being used over here, and here we have the buttons related to the user profile. So this is the complete demo of the app which we are going to create today in this tutorial. So if you are interested in these kinds of tutorial, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Okay, so here is our project, and this project is created from this starter template. So here I am providing a basic setup of the app. You can download it from here, and then you can follow the instructions to run the app. And here I have mentioned that what are the packages which I have added here. So here if we go to package.json, then we can see Axios I have added Expo linear gradient and React Native SVG and this React Native SVG transformer. I have mentioned all these things over here, and also additionally I have used this JSON server to create REST API endpoint. So whatever the data we will present on the app, the products, categories and all, those are coming from this JSON file, and from this JSON file I can create local REST API endpoint by using this JSON server package. So I have installed it, and I have mentioned it here that I haven't installed it in this project. So here in the package.json you cannot see that I haven't installed that in the project, but I have installed that on my machine globally by using this command, and then by using this command we can run the API. So let me copy it, and here we have the JSON file within this data directory, and here we have the data. Okay, so here we have all the data. So first we have the sell product, then we have the categories and all. So all the data is present here, whichever is needed to create our screen. Let me open a new terminal, and here let's provide this command, and here we can see these are the endpoints which have been created. So here let me copy and paste it here. So here we can see this is the endpoint, and this is the data which we are getting, and it is from this JSON file, and this JSON server package is creating this REST API endpoint. So that is what I will use in this project. That is the setup which I want to explain, and I have already provided that guide to this starter template. I will provide the link of this starter template in the description below. Now let's discuss the project structure. Within the app directory I have this tabs directory, and also we have these files, this index, sign in, sign up and layout, and along with that I have this components directory which is empty as of now. We have constants which is the colors constant. These are the colors which we are going to use on our app. Then I have already explained this data, and we have these types. So all the type, the product type, the category type, whatever type we are going to use, that definition is here. Now let's see. In the index we have this welcome screen. So this is the welcome screen, and here I have this button to go to sign in screen and the sign up screen. So that is the setup I have done, and that is from this layout. So here we can see this is the tab layout, and for the sign in and sign up I have provided this presentation as model. So that's how it is opening, right? And from the sign in screen we can go to app home screen, and that is the tabs directory. So here in the tabs directory we have this home screen, and then we have the explore, notification, cart and profile. And I have provided a basic setup here. So if I go to layout, this is our tab layout, and here I have provided this title and the icons for each of the tabs. And here you can notice that for the cart we have this tab bar badge, and I have provided number 3, so that is being presented here like this. So these are the options. By default export outer has, basically it is not the export outer, it is for the React navigation on top of which the export outer have been built. So these attributes are from the React navigation. So that is what I have provided in the starter template, but as I have shown you in the demo, this is I am not going to use. It will be completely customized. The icons are looking pretty much similar because I have used the same icon, but as you have seen in the demo that for the profile we don't have this icon, and also we have a line on the top for each of the active tabs which is being animated when we are switching to different tabs. So that is what we are going to implement. And at that time also this tab bar badge will not work. That will have a different kind of implementation of this badge. I will cover all those things in details when I am going to create this custom bottom tab bar. As of now, let's not focus into this. Let's first go to this welcome screen. First we are going to implement the design for this welcome screen, sign in screen and sign up screen. And here I also want to mention one thing. For the index, I have provided this link href to open the model or go to other screen. We normally can use link href, which I have used here. But for the sign in, I have commented it out. I haven't used the link component here, and why I have done that, I want to discuss that. So here let me comment this on press, and let's remove the comment from this link. So right now we are navigating through link, right? So let me reload it once and let's check it. Now if I click on go to app home screen, then nothing happens. I'm clicking here but nothing happens. But if I close it, then we can see that we are presented with this home screen already, but our model was presented on top of it. So that is what is happening while I am using link. It is not dismissing the model, so that's why I have to intentionally dismiss it. So to dismiss it, I have provided this router.dismissAll function. So by this, it is first dismissing the model and then it is pushing this tab layout. So that's what I have done. So right now if we see, after clicking on that, the model is gone and we are presented with the home screen of the app. So this is the proper way. So this is how the UI UX should be. So that is what I want to discuss. That is what I have provided in the starter template, and these are all the vital points which I wanted to discuss before starting to implement any new thing. I think it is worth spending this much time to discuss all these points. Now let's implement the design from the index, which is our welcome screen. Okay, so first for this welcome screen, we don't need this header, and to get rid of that, I can use this React fragment, and then let's import stack from export outer. And for the screen options, let's provide header shown as false. So the header has been gone. Now after that, first we have an image as background for this screen, and that image I have already provided here in the images directory. I have this eCommerce splash. So this is the image which I am going to use, and also with that I have provided this Google logo and this cell banner. These are the image files which I am going to use in this tutorial. So first let's provide that image, and that will be an image background which needs to be imported from React Native. And let's provide the image background source, and here it will be required as I'm going to use local asset, and then the image name, and that is eCommerce / JPG. Now after that I need to provide style, and it will be flex1 only, and then for the resize mode I will provide cover. Now let's move these things within this image background. So here we can see our image background and we can see these text. These are not properly visible, but we will make it soon. Now after the image, we need to provide the linear gradient, and that we can do within this container view. Let's provide linear gradient, and this linear gradient will be imported from Expo linear gradient package. So here first we need to provide the colors. First it will be transparent color, then I will provide RGBA color, and this one will be white color, so it will be 255255, and for the opacity I will provide 0.9. Let's wrap these things in linear gradient, and after that here we can see we have this linear gradient, but we need to provide some styling to it, right? So let's provide style. Let's call it background. For this one also it will be flex 1. For the position it will be absolute. Then let's provide top 0, bottom 0, left and right 0. So throughout the screen we have this linear gradient present, but I don't want it like this. Let me add another color here, which is also will be the white color, but this time it doesn't have any opacity. This is what I want, and I want to present these things, these contents in this part of the screen. So that means it will be flex end. So here let's provide justify content flex end. So here it is. Now within this linear gradient I want to create another view, and let's name this as wrapper. Let's create that wrapper here. First provide padding bottom 50, and to see that I need to close it here. So now it is looking good. Let's provide padding horizontal, and it will be 20, and also I will provide align item center to align these things at center. So it is good. Now let's provide style. For this text it will be title, and the title would be shop X. Now let's create the title. For the font size I will use 22. Let's provide color, and for the color I have this colors constant, so let's import that, and after that I will use our primary color. So this is the text. Now let's provide some more style, and for the font weight I will use 700. For letter spacing let's give this value. Finally for the margin bottom let's provide 5. Okay, it will be 2.4. Now it is looking good. Now similarly I need to create description, and here I need to provide a description, a tagline, whatever you can call it. So let's provide a slogan here: one-stop solution for all your needs. And let's provide style for this description. Font size 14. For the color let's use gray color. For letter spacing let's provide 1.2. For line height let's provide 30, and finally for the margin bottom I will provide 20. So this section is complete. Now after that we need to provide the buttons, the social login buttons. So after this text let's create a view, and within this view we will provide the social login, and the button will be similar to this. So let me provide it here. Now for this view let's provide a style social login wrapper, and with the text I need to provide an icon. For the icon I will use mail outline. For the size of it let's provide 20, and for the color let's give black color. Now let's provide some style here. For the touchable opacity it will be button, and for the text it will be button text, and instead of this text I will provide continue with email text. Now let's create these things. So first we have the social login wrapper, then we have the button, and then we have the button text. Now let's create all these things. For the button it will be flex direction row. Okay, it will be styles button text. Okay, so flex direction row, and then let's provide a padding then give a border color gray color. Let's provide border width, and for the border width I will use this hairline width. For the width of the button I will use 100%. So now nothing happens after using 100%. So now here for the wrapper I need to provide align self as stretch. So now it have been stretched. Now let's see, if I comment out this with 100%, then nothing happens. So this width is not required. Instead of this, let's provide align items center and justify content center to make it center align. Now for the button text, let's provide font size 14, font weight 600, and the color would be black color. And now let's provide some gap in between these two. So I can provide margin left here. Also I can provide gap. So instead of margin left I will use gap. So here I can see a proper gap is present. Right. Now for this border, let's provide a border radius. So now it's looking good, and along with this let's provide margin bottom 15. So it is looking good. Now let's copy this 2 more times, and after that here it will be continue with Google, Apple. First we will have the email Google, then Apple, and with the Apple it will be logo Apple. So it's looking good. For the Google I can use logo Google, but this one is not colored as Google has multiple color in its logo, so it is not looking good. So that's why I have provided this Google logo SVG, and to use this SVG I have already added React Native SVG transformer package. So by using that package I can import SVG like this. Okay, so I have provided a name to this import, and I can use this Google here. Instead of this icon I can use it here like this, and let's provide a width 20 and height 20 as well. Here we can see it have been changed, and now it is looking good. Now after these buttons we will have a text, and that text will say already have an account. If we have an account, then it will say us to log in or sign in, and all these things will be in the same line. So I need to wrap this text here. Now let's provide some style for these things. Let's name it as login text. Then for this sign in button text it will be login text span. So let's create this. So first I want to provide a margin top here, and it is 30. Then for the font size I will use 14 pixel. Let's provide black color, and 24 pixel for the line height. Now for this button text let's provide color. It will be primary color. Let's provide a bold font weight which is 600. Here we need to use this space like this. So that's how we can have a space in between this text. It will be sign in, and for this one it will be sign up. And for these buttons we actually don't have anything, so let's get rid of these things, these links. So now it is looking good. The UI is complete, but now let's provide some animation. So if I reload it, then suddenly all these things are appearing, which is not looking that much great. To make it better I can provide some animation. Let's first provide the animation for this text, and it is from React Native Reanimated. So let's import this animated from React Native Reanimated, then dot text. So here also it needs to be closed like this. Then let's provide entering animation, and for it I will use fade in right. Let's provide 500 millisecond delay, and for the duration I will provide 300. So that's how it is appearing. Now let's copy this entering and let's use that here. And to use the entering I need to make it animated text. and here for this thing I will provide delay 500. Okay, so now let's reload. So first it will appear, then this, so that is the delay. Now after that, for these buttons let's provide the animation, and for the animated we don't have anything for touchable opacity, we have the view. So I can use the view, and this view is only specific for the animation. To apply the animation I am using this view, otherwise this view is not necessary, and other than this view I cannot use link or touchable opacity as an animated component, so that's why I am using this view. Now let's wrap it properly, and here let's provide entering animation, and for this one I will not use fade in right, I will use fade in down, and here I will provide duration 500. Let's save it. So that's how the animation is. Now let's do similar thing, let's copy it and let's provide it here. Let's change the duration. For this one I will provide duration 700, and for this one I will provide duration 1100. Now save it. So that's how it is. Now let's reload it. So that's how the animation is looking good. I just want to provide one more property here, which is springify for this text animation. Okay, so that's how it is. So I am satisfied with this one. So this is done. Now let's go to our sign in or sign up screen. So first let's implement the sign up screen. So for the sign up screen, first we need to provide the title here, and for that let's create the React fragment, and it will be stack screen options. Let's provide header title, and it will be sign up. Now after that I want to provide an icon to go back to previous screen. In the model, if we drag it down, then it will be closed. Many users might not know about that, so that's why I want to provide an icon here. And also for Android it will not have this kind of layout, and that time that icon will work as well. So let's provide header left, and let's create a button with touchable opacity, and it will be an icon, and the icon will be close. For the size I will use 24 pixel, and let's provide the black color here. Okay, so that's how it is. Now let's provide on press in it, and it will be router back. So now if I click here, then it is closed, right? Then here let's provide create an account. Let's provide title style. Font size would be 24. For font weight I will use 600. For letter spacing let's use 1.2. For the color let's provide black color, and let's provide a 50 pixel margin bottom. And then here I need to create a text input field. So for this text input it will be email address, the placeholder. For the placeholder text color I will provide gray color. Now let's provide style to it. Let's provide white color in the background. For padding vertical let's use 12. For padding horizontal use 18. Let's provide stretch for align self. So here it is stretching to all the way to the edges of the screen. So for that here I will provide a padding 20. So now it is looking good. For border radius let's use 5. Font size I will use 16 pixel, and now for the color I will use black color, and the color is the color for the text which the user will type here. Then finally let's provide margin bottom 20, and also here let's provide a background color, the background, which is this color in the background. And as we will need this text input field quite a few times, so that's why I'm going to create a component for it. So within component let's create input field tsx file, and from here let's copy it and use it here. Similarly, let's cut it from here and use it here. Let's import text input from React Native. Now instead of this text input here, let's use input field. Okay, so it is similar. Now I want to customize it a bit, and the customization would be this, that this text input field will have this style. Other than that, I will not provide anything here. I want to provide the props. So from here I want to provide the text input field props. So that's why I have destructured the props here. So whatever props I will use, that will be applied here, and I want to use the text input field prop, and that I can get by react.components prop type of text input. So now it is blank. Now let's provide placeholder. So here we can see we have this suggestion for the props which are for the text input field, right? So let's provide placeholder email address. For placeholder text color, it will be gray as I have provided before. Now let's provide auto capitalize as none, so that this first letter doesn't get capitalized by itself. Let's reload it, and now let's check. So it is not getting capitalized. Okay, and let's provide keyboard type as email address. It will present the proper keyword for this email address type. Now after this we will have password, and for this one it will not have these things. It will be secure text entry for the password. We don't want to display any character, so that's why it will be secure text entry. So it will be like this. So now save it. After that let's copy it again, and this time it will be confirm password. Now after that let's create the button. So it will be touchable opacity. Let's provide style. For this text, let's provide button text. Now let's create these styles. For the button background color, I will provide primary color. Okay, it is styles.button text. For the padding vertical, I will use 15. For the padding horizontal, I will use 18. Let's provide stretch for the align self. For align items, it will be center, so that the text is in the center. For the border radius, let's provide same border radius as the text input fields, which is 5. Now for the margin bottom, let's provide 20. Now I need to provide the color for the text, and the color would be white. Let's increase the font size, and let's provide a bolder font weight. So now it's looking good. After this I want to provide this text, so I can copy it from here. Let's use it here. Let's import the link from export outer, and then let's copy it from here and paste it here. Ideally it should be in another component, as I have done for this button. For this one I am skipping this part. Now after this text we need to create a divider, and for that it will be a view, and let's name it as divider. I will provide border top. So for the color of it, I will use gray color. For the border top width, I will use hairline width. Now let's provide a width for this view, which is 30%. So here we can see that for this one, margin bottom, I will provide 30, but here we need some margin. Here I have provided it at the top, which I don't require. So it is like this. So it's looking good. Now after that we will have the social buttons. So these will be similar as this one. So I can create a component for this. So let me cut it from here, and let's create social login buttons. tsx and here paste it. Let's import it from React Native reanimated and let's add all missing import. So most of the imports have been done. I think I need to import this Google SVG. So let me cut it from here and paste it here. Now after that, I think we are left with the styles and these are the styles for it. Okay, so I think I have provided everything. Now save it. So after saving, here we are not seeing these buttons. Now let's import social login buttons. Let's reload it. So here we can see it is working perfectly well, right? Now here we have provided a link which I want to provide from here. So for that, let's provide a prop and it is for email link. So I have named it as email href and let's provide string type here as of now and let's destructure it from props. And now let's use that here. Here we can see we are having an error and here it is mentioning what it should be. So here for the href it is mentioning that it should be like this. So I can copy it from here and instead of string I am using this one and this href needs to be imported from export outer. Now the error has been gone. Now let's save it. So here we haven't provided that, so let's provide that and here we can see we have the proper suggestion, right? So that's good. We have implemented it properly with the help of TypeScript. So now it is done properly here. Now for the sign up, let's import that. After this divider here, let's provide that social login and for the email href, let's provide sign in for this one. Okay, so it is working perfectly well. We can see the animation is also working good. Now let's click here. So the sign in is opened. So now we need to focus into this. Now this is pretty simple. I can just copy all these things from here. Let's provide here and I want to copy this thing because this is the useful one. Cut it from here and then we can get rid of this. So here for this touchable opacity on press, I need to provide this and here it will be login button. Now let's import all the missing imports. So most of the things, yeah, all the things are done. Now let's copy these styles and paste it here. Now we need to remove this confirm. It will be login to your account. It will be don't have an account, sign up, and for this one it will be sign up. So now it is good. I think the color import is not proper. Yeah, it is not proper. Let's remove the import and import it from our constant. Yeah, now it is good. Now after clicking on login, we are presented with the home screen. Now we need to focus into that, and more specifically we need to first focus into this part, this custom button tab, and that is from this tab layout. So let's customize it. To customize this bottom tab bar, first I will go to this React navigation documentation, and here for the tab bar we have this example, and this is the function that returns React element to display as the tab bar. So this is what I am going to use, and here we can see for the tab navigator we can pass this custom component as tab bar like this. So let me copy it from here and let's provide that here, and it will be this. So this is our custom React component. So for that, here let's create that tab bar I have pasted it here. Instead of my tab bar, I will name it as tab bar, and let's export it. And here I need to provide the type, and it will be bottom tab bar prop, and that I need to import from React navigation bottom tab bar props. So now I can use it here. So now the error have been gone. Now let's save it first, then here instead of my tab bar, let's import our custom component tab bar, save it, and here it is mentioning that we need to provide a unique key. Now the warning message have been gone. Now we can see this is our custom component present. So now we don't need these tab bar icons here, so I can get rid of it. Instead of getting rid of it, I'm just commenting it out, because these icons will be used later on but not here. For the reference, I'm just keeping it here. So this is the active color, and the active color is working fine. Now with tab bar, I need to create another component called tab bar button, and it will have these things, and I don't need these accessibility things and the test ID, so I can get rid of this. So it will be this. Now instead of touchable opacity, I will use pressable here, and for this one we don't need this key, and we need to get these props. So on press, on long press is focused, label, and finally we need another one which will be route name. On press would be a function, on long press would be the same. For is focused, it is a boolean. For the label, it is a string, and the same thing for this route name also. So let's destructure all these things here. Now for the style, instead of flex 1, I will use tab bar button, and it will be flex 1, justify content center, align items center, and for the gap of it I will provide 5. So now here instead of this touchable opacity, I need to provide this tab bar button, and here let's provide on press, on long press, then let's provide is focused. For route name, let's provide route.name. For the label, let's provide label, and here we need to provide the key, the unique key. So now it is positioned at the center. Previously the home was not visible, the profile was fully visible. Now the home is also visible, the profile is also visible, not fully, but from the look of it we can assume that these text positioned at the center of these buttons as I have provided here. Now I need to provide some icons, and for that I need to create a constant called icons. So let's create the icon constant, and here for the index I will use this icon. So let me copy it from here and paste it here. So now I need to import icon, and we need to accept the color, it will be a string. So now let me copy it several times. So after index it will be explore. So here we need to provide the name of the file name as it is here. So I have provided index because we have index.tsx for the home screen. So that's what I have provided here, as here we provide name for the tab screens, right? So that is what I have provided here. So it will be explore, then notifications, then it is cart, and finally it is profile. So let me copy it from here. Okay, I don't need the color, I just only need this icon. So for the explore it is search outline. For the notification I just need this name, notification outline. For the cart, I need the name only, and for the profile, instead of this icon I will use an image, and the image needs to be imported from React Native. And here let's provide an URI, and here it is the URL from which we will get the random user image. Then I need to provide the style, and the style, I'm not getting the style because I don't have the style sheet, so let's create that. So import style sheet from React Native, and then here we can create that. So styles, user image, height 24, width same, for border radius let's provide 20. Now save it. After that we need to export it, and then let's use it here. I need to import icon from icon constant. Okay, now here let's pass the route name. So based on the route name we will return the icon. Okay, so that is the route name I have provided here. And let's provide color, and it will be based on is focused. So if it is focused, then it will be primary, otherwise it will be black. Now save it. So after saving, here we can see we have the icon present. Okay, and also with the icon we have this user image instead of icon for this profile. Now here let's provide a style here. So here also similarly we need to create the style sheet, tab bar. Now let's create that tab bar style. So here the flex direction is row, which was present there before. Now let's provide padding top, padding bottom 40, and for the background color let's provide white color. So now it is prominent. Now most of the customization is done for this one. Now we are left with the animation. We need to provide a bar on top of the active button, and then that will be animate. And other than that animation, we need to provide the badge, the custom badge, because right now this badge will not work. As you can see, we have already provided it here, but it is not working here because it is completely customized component which we are using, so it will not have any effect of this tab bar badge. So let me provide that badge first, and that we can provide here. So here we are providing the icon. Before the icon, let's provide a view. Cart badge is here. So here we are seeing that this number which I have provided, it is present for all of the tab item, but I don't want to provide that for all. I only want to provide that for cart. So I can check that with route name. If the route name is cart, then only we want to display it. So after saving, here we can see it is only present here. So now let's provide the style for this view and the text. It will be styles.badge wrapper badge text. So for the badge wrapper, let's provide the position absolute. For the background color, let's provide highlight. Let's provide top -5. So here is that text. Right would be 20. Now let's provide padding vertical 2, padding horizontal 6, border radius 10. So it is looking good, but here we can see that cart is on top of the badge, but badge should be on top. So that's why let's provide z index 10. So now the badge is on top of the cart. It is fine. Now let's provide the style for this badge text. So let's provide color, black color. For the font size, let's use 12. So that's how we have customized our badge. Now let's provide the animated bar here. So for the animation, first here let me create a view, and this view for the bar which will be on top of the active tab. So here let's provide some style. Let's provide position absolute. For the background color, let's provide primary. For top it will be 0. For the left it is 20. Let's provide height 2 pixel, and for the width as of now let's provide 20. So that is the bar. Now let me increase the width a bit so that it is prominent. This width is not final, it should be the animated view. So let me provide animated, and this animated would be imported from React Native reanimated so that we can provide the animation style here. And we need to provide the width dynamically. For that, first I need to create a state called dimensions, and here let me provide some default value, and this value doesn't mean anything because these are not the final value. We will set the height and width by the set dimensions, and then from the dimension we will get the proper width, which will be the dynamic width for the buttons that we will set here. So we need to get a button width. For that we need to set the dimension, and we can set the dimension by on tab bar layout, and that we need to provide for the on layout prop of this view. So here we can get the layout change event, and this needs to be imported from React Native. Now let's set the dimension here. So here for this event.native event layout height, we can get the height. So similarly we can get the width as well. Now as we have set the dimension, height and width, so we can get it from the dimension, and we can get it to determine the button width. It will be dimensions dot width by routes length. So how many routes we have present here, based on that we will get the button width. So this complete view is this tab bar. So for this tab bar layout we are getting the height and width. So we are getting the width and distributing by the routes length. Right now it is 5. If it is 3 or 2 or 4, whatever the number is, that will be the number here, and the width will be divided by that number, and by that we will get the button width. And from that here we can provide the button width. So let me first provide the button width here. So that's the button width, and I want to provide half of it, so like this. So that is the bar which I have created. Now let's animate it. So for that let's create a use shared value called tab position x. For this let's provide 0, and this use shared value is imported from React Native reanimated, and this will be useful for the animation. So let's create animated style. It will be use animated style, which is also from React Native reanimated. Now let's return transform. Let's provide translate x. So tab position x dot value. So we have provided the tab position x value, but we are not updating the value. Now let's do that. Let's update that value within use effect hook. We can update it in the on press event also, but that is not perfect. The perfect position of it would be this use effect, and this is a specific use effect. Let me implement it, then I will explain it. Let's provide tab position x value, and we will change it with timing. So it is button width state dot index. So whatever the index value of the current tab is, that will be multiplied by button width. Right now the index is 0, so tab position value would be 0 multiplied by button width. So whatever the button width is, it is 0, so the value would be 0. If it is 1, so the button width multiplied by 1, so it will have the value of a button width, so it will be positioned in that manner. So that's how we are providing the value, and we are providing the value with timing. So let's provide the timing here. So here it is the duration 200 millisecond, and for the use effect let's provide the dependency, and the dependency is state index. So whenever the index changes, so if I click here, that time the index changes, so that time it will update this value. So that is what I have mentioned here. This on press is also a place when it is updating, so there also we could provide this, but not always we go to any tab by clicking on the tab. So that's why this is the perfect position. Whenever we go to a new tab, that time this use effect will trigger, because the index will be changed. Whether I am clicking on the tab or not, the index is getting changed, so the tab position value will update, so our animation will be properly visible. Let me provide the animation here. So it is the animated style. Now let's reload it once. Okay, so now we can see the animation is working perfectly well, right? So the customization for this tab bar is complete. Now we need to design the home screen. So for that we need to go to this index.js, and here first we need to see the products. So here are the endpoints from which we can get the response. First I'm going to get the products. So let me just copy it, and here I need to get the products. So first let me create a function called get products, and here let's provide the URL, and here to get the response I have created this response const, and I can get the response by Axios. So this Axios needs to be imported, then axios.get, and here we need to pass the URL, and we need to provide await keyword for it. So this function needs to be async function, then only we can use the await, and then let's output the response in the console log. So it will be response.data, and here let me call it in use effect hook. Let's save it, and after saving we can see the response here. Our get products function is working perfectly well. So now we need to create some state. So first I will create product state. We need to provide use state hook, and that needs to be imported from React Native, and this use effect is also imported from React Native, and it will be an empty array by default, and we need to provide the type of it. And here I have already created the type definition, so here we have the product type, so I can use that here. So this is the product type which needs to be imported from the type, and this will be array of that. So we need to provide that array like this, and along with that let me create another state called is loading, and it will be boolean type, and by default I will provide true for its value. Now we can set the product here, and we can set it by the response data, and along with that set loading as false. Now we need to display the product here. So here after this text let me create a flat list, and for the flat list data I will provide the products. For the key extractor we can get the item, and then let's return an unique value. We can use the ID, and we need to convert it to string. That's how I will provide the key extractor, and then let's render the item. So for render item, here we will get index and item, and based on that we can provide the item detail. So here let me first provide item title. So here we can see our data is being present properly, and we don't need these center alignment things. So now first I want to provide a header here, because here in the header we will provide the logo and the search bar. So let me provide that now here, and for that I have created this React fragment, and here let's import stack. For stack screen option, let's first provide header shown as true. So here is our header, and now we need to customize the header, and for that here we can provide the header, and here we can provide our custom component. So let me create a component here, and the name of the component would be header. So let me import that here. So now here we can see the header. Now we need to work on this. So first here we need to handle this section, and for that we can use this use safe area insets hook, which is from React Native safe area context. For this view, let's provide the style padding top, and it will be insets.top. So by using this hook, we are getting the access of the safe area spaces. So here, as you have seen, that we have top, left, bottom, right, all the options are available. Here for this header, I need to provide the space for the top, and now all the things are visible properly. And along with that, I need to provide some styles. So for that, I will create a container style, and let me create that here. But I haven't provided that here because in this function we have this insert, so we can access it from here only. So that's why I have provided it here. So now for the container, let's provide some styles, and to provide that, let me copy this text another time and let's call it search. So there should be two components, one will be logo and the other one would be the search bar. We need to position those beside each other, so that's why the flex direction should be row. And then for the justify content, I need to provide space between, and for align items, I need to provide center. For the background color of it, I will provide, so I need to import colors, and then let's provide white. Now I need to provide a padding horizontally. For the padding bottom, let's provide 10. So now it is looking good. Now let's provide the logo, and for the logo it is nothing, just some text. Let's provide style for it. So let's create the logo here. For the font size, I will use 24 pixel. For the font weight, I will use bold, and that will be 700. And now I need to provide the color. It will be our primary color. So it's looking good. Now we need to create the search bar, which will look like a normal search bar, but it will be a button. So that's why I need to provide touchable opacity, and within that I need to provide this text. With that, I need to provide an icon, and that icon would be search outline. For the size of it, I will use 20, and for the color, I will use gray color. So this is the search bar. Now let's provide the style here, and let's call it search bar. Now for the search bar, first we need to provide flex 1. Let's provide a background color for it, and that will be color background. So now you can see this is how the flex 1 is working. So it has expanded throughout the available space. Now let's provide a border radius 5, and for the padding vertical, I will provide 8 pixel, then 10 pixel for the padding horizontal. And obviously the flex direction would be row because these things needs to be in a row. Finally, I need to provide justify content space between. So now it is looking good. Now I need to provide a space in between these two components, and that I can do by providing a gap here. That should be 15. So now it is looking good. And here for this search text, let's provide a style called search text, and here let's provide the color gray. So now it is looking good. Now I need to provide the functionality to go to search screen or explore screen. So for that I have used link, and here let's provide explore, and here I need to provide this as child prop. So now we can see that it is working perfectly well. And when we are going to this explore tab, that time the animation is also working properly, right? So the animation is not only working on clicking on this tab bar, it is also working whenever we will go to any tab screen. So the header is done. Now let me focus into creating this render item for the products. Okay, so here first let me provide a view, and within this view let's provide the image, and the image needs to be imported from React Native. And for the image source URI, we need to provide the image source URL, and here we can see for the data we have multiple images for a product. We want only one image to display here, so that's why it will be item images and the first image, which will be 0 index. Then we need to provide some style for it, so let's create these styles. for the image width I will provide 100%. For the height I will use 200, and then let's provide a border radius of 15 and a margin bottom of 10 pixel. Now save it. So here we can see the image. Now I want to display two products in a row. For that we need to provide num columns equal to 2. Now let's reload it. So here we can see we have two items in a row, but it is not properly styled. So I need to fix that. For that, first I'm going to separate these things in a new component. So let's cut it from here and create a component called product item. And here let's paste it, and we need to import the image, and then let's cut this product image from here to here, and then finally we need to pass the item prop. So here we need to get the item, and that will be product type, and it will be single product. So I haven't provided any array here, and here I'm getting it. So now it is fine. Now let's import product item here, and let's pass the item prop. So now it is looking same as before. Now we need to work on this style here. So here first I'm going to get the screen width, and that I can get from dimensions dot width. So let's provide style here. For this view I will provide container style, and for the width of it, it will be width by 2. Okay, so now both the items have properly distributed size. Now for this container in the index, we don't need this flex 1 because all these items in the flat list already taking this space, but I need to provide the margin horizontal, and that will be 20. Now we can see that it is cropping some image. That's why here for the width I can provide width minus 40. And why 40? Because for the margin horizontal I have provided 20. Horizontally both sides we have 20 pixel padding. So that's why from the total width I'm reducing 40 pixel. Now save it. So now it is fine, right? And now I want to provide some space here in between these two products. So for that, first I can do width reduction from this container. This is providing the half of the width which we have got here, right? So from here if I minus 10, so it will have minus 10 and it will have minus 10. So by this we will get extra 20 pixel space available which we can provide here. So now save it. So here we can see that we have the available space here, but we want to provide that space in between these two items. So for that here I can provide content container style, and here for the justify content let's provide space between. Okay, it is not the content container, it would be column wrapper, because these are the column and I have provided this space between. That available space is now in between these two items. So now it is properly positioned. Along with this I want to provide margin bottom 20. So now it is looking good. Now let's provide other information of the products. So first for each of the products we will have a bookmark icon. So after this image let's create that, and that will be a button. So that's why I am using touchable opacity, and for this touchable opacity we need to provide an icon, and that icon would be heart outline. For the size of it I will use 22, and for the color of it I will use black color. So here is the icon. Now I need to position it here. So for that let's provide some style, and let's name it as bookmark button. So first we need to provide position as absolute. Let's position it at right side. So right 20. For the top also I will provide 20 pixel. So now it is positioned in a proper place. Now let's provide a background color, and that will be RGBA background, and I will provide this white color with this 0.6 opacity. Let's provide a padding 5, and then let's provide a border radius to make it rounded. So now it is looking good. Now for the product name we need to provide the style. It will be title. So let's create the title style here. For the font size let's use 14. For the font weight I will use 600. For the color of it I will use black color. Now for the letter spacing, I will use 1.1. Yeah, it's looking good. Now above this text, I will provide some information related to product, which will be the price and the rating. So here for that I have created a view, and within this view I will provide that price. So first let's provide the text, and here it will be item price, and along with that we need to provide the dollar symbol. So I have provided that, and then we need to provide the rating. And here for the data we don't have any rating, so I cannot get that rating from the item. So I will provide a random number here, and for that also I am creating a view, because for the rating also we need to provide two items. The first one would be the star icon, so let me create that. For the star size I will provide 20 pixel, and for the color of it I will use this color. And after this star I need to provide the actual rating number, and that would be, let's say, 4.7. So these are the data which will be here. Let me provide the styles for this. So first for this wrapper view it will be product info, then for this price text it will be styles.price. For this rating view it will be rating wrapper. For the text it will be rating. So now let's create all of these. So first we have the product info, then we have the price, rating wrapper and rating. So we have the price, then rating wrapper and rating. So now for the product info it will be flex direction row. For justify content let's provide space between, and let's provide a margin bottom 8. For the price font size I will use 16. For the font weight I will use 700, and for the color of it I will use primary color. Now let's provide style for this rating wrapper, and it will be flex direction row. For the align items let's provide center, and let's give a 5 pixel gap. For the rating I will provide 14. Font size. For the color I will use gray color. So all of it is looking good. Now I want to provide an animation here, and for that here it will be animated view, and this animated is from React Native Reanimated. And here we need to provide the entering effect, and that we can get from here. And here we have provided fade in right. Let me go to this social login button, and here we have provided fade in down. I'm going to use this one. So let me copy it and let's paste it here. So let's update the import. Here I need to close it. So now we can see it is having that animation, but all of the items are appearing at the same time. I don't want that. I want to provide some delay in every item. So for that, for the delay I can provide dynamic delay, and for that I need to get the index also. So let me get it, and it will be a number type. So here for this product item I need to provide the index as well. Okay, now I can use that here. So with 300 I will first get the index here, and then I can use it here. So with 300 I can plus the index into 100. So by this the delay will be increased for each of the item as the index increases. Now save it. After that let's reload it. So here you can see right now all the items are appearing separately, right? Now here let's change this text to for you, and it will be the title. And let me create a view here and provide that text within the view. And also let's create another component which is touchable opacity, and here we will have the see all button. So for this view let me provide the style as title wrapper, and for this text for the button I will provide title button. So let me create those here. So first for the title wrapper let's provide flex direction row, then space between. For the justify content, and let's provide a margin bottom 10. For the title let's provide font size 18. For the font weight I will provide 600. For letter spacing I will use 0.6. And finally let's provide the color. it will be the black color. Now for the title button, let's provide font size 14, font weight 500, and then it will have the similar letter spacing and color. So now it is looking good. Now I want to move these to a separate component. So cut it from here and let's create a separate component called product list. And here let's paste it, and now update the import for the flat list. Okay, so all the imports have been done. Now after that we need to copy these styles here. So let's cut these styles from here and paste it here. And now we need to get the products. So the products will be the array of the product type. So now here let's import the product list component. Let's provide the products here. Here I haven't get the products prop. So now let's see. Okay, now it is working well. Now after that, as this product list is done, after this header, first we have the category list. So now I need to create that. So for that, first let me create the categories component here. And let's import it here. And for the categories, we need to create similar function. So let me copy it, and it will be get categories. And for the endpoint, it will be this categories endpoint. And instead of setting products, it will be categories. And the type would be category type. And let me comment out the console log here. Let's use this console log. And here let's call the get categories function in the use effect hook. Okay, so here we can see the category. Now I need to pass that here. So here let's get the categories, and it will be array of this category type. So we can pass the categories. Now we can get it here, but before that, let me copy this title wrapper from this product list and paste it here. So I need to copy this title wrapper and title styles as well. Let's paste that here and update the import. And here for this title wrapper, let's provide margin horizontal 20. So now it is looking good. Now after this title wrapper, let's create a flat list. For the data, I need to provide these categories. For the key extractor, I will use the same. So let me copy it from here and paste it here. And then for the render item, let's get the item index, and then within the view, first output the item name. So here is the item name. I need to make it horizontal. Now let's get the image here. Let's provide image URI, and it will be item image. For the style of it, let's provide item image. Now create that, and I will provide 50 for the height and width of the image. For the border radius, I will use 30. For the background color, I will use light gray. Okay. For this view, let's provide style item, and here let's create the item style. So first let's provide margin vertical 10. For the gap, let's provide 5, and for the align items, let's provide center, margin left 20. So now it is looking good. And with that, I don't want to provide this scroll indicator, so that's why I have provided false for the horizontal scroll indicator. Okay. And all of these things would be within touchable opacity, so let's provide that. So now the categories have been done. Now let's focus into the next part, which is the flash sale. So for that, here we need to provide the new component which I need to create here. It would be flash sale. Let's import that here. Now it will be similar to this. Let me copy it from here and paste it here, and then let's copy these things from here and here I don't think this margin bottom is required because we are providing the margin vertical for the item, right? So that's why we don't need that. And here for this view, let's provide container style margin bottom 20, so that will give some space here. Now I want to provide the title and this container as well, so let's copy that and paste it here. Let's import colors and this touchable opacity, so it will be flash sale, and with the flash sale here we will have the timer. So beside the flash sale text we will have the timer, so that's why I'm creating another view, and within this view let's provide the timer text. So here for this view let's provide the style timer wrapper, and here it will be flex direction row, align items would be center. Now here for this timer I'm going to provide another view, and it will be time outline. For the size of it I will use 16. For the color let's provide black color, and here it will be timer, and for the text it will be timer text. So let's create the timer and timer text. So first for the flex direction it will be row. For the gap let's provide 5. Let's provide a background color here, and that will be highlight color. For padding horizontal I will use 8. For padding vertical let's use 5. Now let's provide a border radius of 12. So now it is looking good. So here I want to provide some gap in between these. So for that, for this wrapper let's provide gap 10. For the timer text I will provide the black color, and for the font weight let's provide 500. So the timer would be like this. So the design is complete for this. Now let's create the countdown timer, and for that first I need to create a state for time units. Let's provide some values. So here I have created this days, hours, minutes and seconds, and by default I have provided this 0 value. So these are the time units which we need to use for the timer. Now after that, within use effect hook we need to create few functions. First it will be calculate time units, and for this we will get the time difference, and that will be number type. Now let's create second, and it will be this, and then based on these seconds we can set the time units, and let me paste the time units value here. So here we are creating the time units value based on the seconds for the days, hours and minutes. So here you can see that is the formula. You can take note of this and use as it is. So this is the formula for these time units. So this is the function for the calculating time units, and by this we are setting the time units. So from this time unit we can get the values later on. Now we need to create another function called update countdown, and here let's get the current date, and we will get the time also. So that's why I have used date.getTime. Then we need to create the expiry time, and here we need to provide the sale end date time. So that's what I need to create, and here I will create that. So I have created sale end date. Now I can set the sale end date. So let's set the date, and I am setting the date from 2 days to current date. With the date I need to set the hours as well, and I will set the time as it is here. So here first it is the hour, then minute, then second. So it is just a second before the midnight. So this is the sale end date which I have created, and for the expiry time I need to provide that. So it is the sale end date, and we need to get the time. Now let's calculate the time difference, and it will be expiry time, current date. So both of these are time, and we can get the difference like this. Now let's check for the time difference. If the time difference is less than equal to 0, then we don't need to calculate any time because the countdown have been finished. Else if it is more than 0, then we need to calculate the time unit based on the time difference. So here as we are getting the time difference, and by this we are setting the time units based on the time difference. So that is what I am doing here. Now let's call this function and let's provide an interval. For the interval also let's call this function and provide the interval time in milliseconds. So it will be 1000 milliseconds, so that means 1 second. So for each second interval we are updating the countdown, and as we are setting the interval, so we need to clear that also, and we need to clear that in the return clear interval, and let's clear the interval. Okay, so the functionality for the countdown is done. Now outside of this use effect I need to create another function to format time, and here we will get the time, and this will be number type, and here we can return the time, and let's convert it to string, and here let's provide pad start, and here it does this. It will provide the time in this format. 2 digits will be there for each of the time unit. So that's what I have provided 2. And for the fill string, if the number is not present there, then I will provide 0. So it will be like this, and that is the explanation it has provided here. So that is the format time. Now let's provide the values here. First it will be days, so we need to format the time, and then we need to use the time units days. So let me copy it. Then after the days it will be hours, then it will be minutes, and after that finally it will be seconds. Now save it. Now after saving, here we can see our timer is started running. Okay, so here we are setting the time and date, and the date is from 2 days now. If we want to provide any specific date, that also we can do by this set full year, and here let's provide a date like this. So first the year, then the month, and then the date. So I have provided 2nd October 2024. Let's comment out this, and let's set the time like this. So this date and this time. So now we can see that it is updated. And here one thing we need to note, that the month is 0 based numeric value, 0 for the January and 11 for the December. So as I have mentioned 10 for October, it is not the case 10 for the November here. If I need to set the October, it will be 9. Right now when I am recording it, it is September 28. So now it is showing the proper days, 4 days from now. So that's how we need to set. So here it is providing that information. So that's how we need to set the specific date and time. So that I wanted to show you, but for this one I'm going to use this 2 days from the current date. So that's the timer. Now we need to get the products as prop. So let's accept that, and it will be product type, array of product type. Let's get the products here. So here let's pass that, and to pass that, here I need to create another function to get the sell products, and for this one we have this endpoint. So let's use that here, and here let's create the state for sell products, and here let's set the sell products. So I can pass it here, and as I'm setting the is loading, so let's consider that also here. If is loading is true, then we need to return a loader, and that will be activity indicator, and it will be large size. Now we are getting the product here, so let's create that, and it will be a flat list. So I can copy it from here. Let's paste it here, update the import for the flat list, and here it will be products, and it will be horizontal as well. Now here instead of these, it will be product item. Now for the product item, we need to set the index and item. Now save it. So here we can see we have the product list, and here let's provide our wrapper view for each of the product item, and here let's provide margin right 20, and for the content container style let's provide margin left 20. So now it is looking good. And here at the right side also I need to provide some margin, but it will not be margin, it will be padding right. So now it is looking good. Okay. And for the title wrapper margin bottom let's provide 20. So the flash sale section is also done. Now after that we need to provide the sale banner, and that is just an image. So let me create a view here, and within the view let's provide the image, and it is the local image. So we have the image within the assets. So here we have the banner, so that we are going to use. It is sale banner JPG. Now let's provide some style here. For the width of it, it will be 100%. For the height, it is 150. For the border radius, I will use 15. Now let's provide some style for this view. So it is margin horizontal 20. So that's it is. And let's provide margin bottom 10. So that's how we have provided the banner here. Now the UI is looking good, but if I try to scroll down, then I can see I'm not able to do that. I can scroll these things horizontally. I can scroll the flash sale horizontally. That is completely fine, but I'm not able to scroll the complete screen. If I want to scroll here, then I can see this particular section is getting scrolled, but it doesn't meet the purpose because we are not able to see the listings, right? And why it is getting scrolled? Because in the product list we have used flat list, right? To scroll complete section, complete app, we need to wrap these things in a scroll view. So let's wrap it with scroll view. Now after saving, we can see we are having an error, and this is the error which is mentioning that within scroll view same orientation component we couldn't use. For this it is scrolling vertically, and for this section also, for this flat list, we couldn't do that. So that's why I need to change it, and for that let me take another prop here called flat list, and based on that I will check it. By default I will set it to true, and here I will check. If flat list is true, then I will display this flat list. Otherwise I will display product items but not within the flat list. It will be through map function. Let's provide that. It's products map, and for the map function we will get item and index for the each item, and then we can output the product item within a view. And here let's provide the product item, and the product item will be this same, and here also we are getting the item and index, right? So we are passing that. And why I am keeping this flat list? Because this will be useful for our other screens, so that will be useful for later on. That's why I have kept it, and for the home screen we will require this to get rid of that error. Now save it, and here for the product list, here I need to provide that flat list equal to true. Now I'm not seeing any change here, but it should have a little change. Let me reload it. Okay, I have provided flat list true, but it should be false. So now I can see instead of that error, right now we have warning, and that warning is for the unique key, and that is here for this map function we need to provide the key, and the key could be the index. So the warning has gone. Now we can see this is how we have the product item layout. So now here we need to provide some style. So for this wrapper view, let me provide a style called item wrapper, and here also let's provide a style, and let's name it as product wrapper, and it will be items with S. So now let's copy it and let's create those styles here. Now for this item wrapper, let me provide the style, and the first style would be with 100%. Then I need to provide flex direction row. Here as you can see, it is in column layout. The flex direction is column, but I want it to be positioned beside each other, so that's why it should be flex direction row. But when it will be positioned beside, that time I don't want it to position beside like this so that it will be present horizontally. I want it to be present vertically. When it is filled the screen, then the next item should be in the bottom. So that's why I need to provide flex wrap as wrap. Now finally let's provide align items as stretch. So that's how it is. So now it is properly aligned as I want. Now I just want to make the gap in between these two items, and that I can provide from this product wrapper. So here for this I need to provide 50% width. For the padding left I will provide 5, and then for the margin bottom I will provide 20. So now it is looking good, and here we can scroll the categories horizontally. For the flash sale also we have this horizontal scrollable functionality, and here the complete app is getting scrolled vertically. So that's how it should be, and I am keeping it as I have mentioned that later on we can repurpose this, we can use it for other screens. So that is the reason I have kept it like this, and for the home screen we are providing this one. Okay, so here is our project, and previously we have created this home page, and here as you can see, if I am clicking on this item, then they are not clickable. I am not presenting with any new screen which is detail screen of the product, and then here we don't have anything for these screens either. Here for this tutorial I have added some data to our JSON file. So here you can see I have added this cart information, cart data. So here we have the cart information, and then after that we have the notification information. So this will be needed for these two screens, and I have already provided those details in the starter template. So here you can see in the data I have added those JSON. So here you can see the notification and the cart. So from here you can get the details, and also along with it I have provided the types for these things as well. So here you can find the types, but types are pretty easy to create from the JSON data. So that's why I haven't provided that here in the project. I have provided the JSON data, and when I will create those screens, that time I will create the types. So that is what I have added for this tutorial. Now let's start creating the screens, and first I want to create the detail screen of the product, and for that here within the app directory I want to create a directory called product details, and within that I will create id tsx like this, and let me close it. So now after creating this product details, we need to connect this. Now from the product item we can get it. Here this is the product item, and here we will provide the link to this new product details screen. And if you haven't seen the first part of this tutorial, then I would highly recommend watch that tutorial first and then come to this tutorial. Then it will be helpful to you, because in the first part I have already created all these things, all these files and all, so you will get to know all of this. And in this tutorial I am starting from that stage, and I have already provided that link in the description below, and also you can find that tutorial from the eye icon of this video. So now let's start here. So first I'm going to provide link, and here for the link I want to provide href, and here it will be product details, and then the id, the item id, which I will pass for this id in the bracket, right? And I need to provide touchable opacity, and this touchable opacity needs to be imported from React Native. So it is imported from React Native, and now we need to close these two. So here after closing the animated view, I'm closing the touchable opacity first and then the link. Now let's save it. Now after saving, let's click here. So here I can see the product details. Now let's get the product ID here. So here, by the help of the use local search params hook from expo router, I can get the ID. Let's pass it here. So here we can see product details 30, 29, 31, right? So we are getting the product ID perfectly fine here. Now we need to get the product information, and for that let's create a function called get product details, and it will be an async function, and here we need to call the API. So first we need to configure the URL, and the API URL would be this sell product or products, and then with that we can provide the ID. So let me just copy it and paste it here. So here we can see all the products listed for this API endpoint. Now if I want to have only one particular product details, then it will be /30. So this particular product I want to get the information, so let's provide that. So here I'm getting the response for only that particular product, right? So this will be our API endpoint. So that is what we need to provide here. So here it will be sell products, then after the slash we need to provide the ID like this. Now after the API endpoint we need to get the response, and to get the response I need to use Axios. So this Axios needs to be imported from Axios. Then let's provide the URL here. Now we need to output the response in the console log, and now let's call it in use effect hook. So this use effect needs to be imported from React, and here let's call the get product details function. Now save it. After saving, here we can see the output. So let me provide product details text here, and then let's click on any product. So here we can see the response product details, right? So it's working perfectly well. Now we need to start design it. To design it, first we need to create a state called products, and here I need to call the use state. I will import it from React. So this product we need to set here. So it will be set product, and we will set it by the response data. Now after setting it, here we can get the product details. Let me first display product title, and here we need to specify the type. So it will be the product type, which needs to be imported from our types. So here we have product type listed, right? So I have exported it, and now I can get the suggestion. So I will have the product title. So now let's check, and here it is working perfectly well. Now first we need to display the product image carousel. For that, first I'm going to create a component here, and that would be image slider. And now let's save it, and here let's import that image slider. Here I have imported it. So here it is. Now I need to give a checking. If the product is set, then we will display the image slider. So here let me provide that, and let's get rid of it here. And here as a prop I will get the image list. So let me check the data. So here for any kind of products we are getting the images, multiple images. Okay, so for that, here I will take the image list, and the type for images is string type, array of string. So it will be array of string. So here let me pass that prop, and here it will be product images. Okay, and here it is showing the error, because here also we need to provide this kind of check. So let me provide that check. If product is available, then we will display the product title text. Okay, now save it. So now we are not having any kind of error. Now let's get the image list here, and let's create that image slider. So here instead of this text, let's first provide the flat list, and for the flat list data I will provide image list. Then for the render item I need to provide the item, and within this view I will provide the images, and for this image source URI I will provide the item, and for the style of it I will provide width 300 and height 300. And now image is not imported, that's why it is showing the error. So now I have imported it from React Native. So here are the images. Now let's make it horizontal. Let's provide show horizontal scroll indicator as false, and now after that I need to provide paging enabled so that it snaps properly. Now for this view, this wrapper view, I will provide style. For this style I need to provide a full width, so I need to get the width. It will be const width, and I will get it from dimensions. So dimensions get screen width. So I will set this view style. Width will be the width which we have just got from dimensions, and then I will provide justify center and align item center. So now here it is properly visible, and here with this image I will provide a border radius which will be 10 pixel. So now it is looking little bit better, and with this I want to provide some more customization for the paginations and all. And for the pagination, let me first create the pagination component here. Let me create that file pagination.tsx, and here I can provide that pagination, and this needs to be imported, and I will change the path to components pagination. So here is the pagination, and for the pagination we need to get some props. We will need to get the items, and that will be the image list which we have here. So that will be the array of string, and after that we will require pagination index, and it will be a number. So now save it, and here we need to pass those. So first we have item, and for the item we need to provide image list, and then we have pagination index, and for the pagination index currently we don't have any number. We need to get the number. When we will scroll, that time we need to update the number. Later I will provide that, but right now it is 0. So now save it. After that, here let's create that pagination dot. So here first I will provide the style container. So let me create the container style. First I will provide flex direction row, and for the height of it I will provide 60. Then I need to provide justify center and align item center, so it is a perfect position. Now after that, instead of this text, let's provide props items, and let's map through each of the item which we are getting here. So for the items we can get the item and index, and then let's render a view, and for this view first we need to provide key which will be unique, so that would be our index which we are getting here. Then we need to provide this style, and this style will be for our pagination dot. So let me provide name here as pagination dots, and within this view we don't need anything, so it will be self-closing component. Now let's create that pagination dot here. So for the pagination dot width I will provide 30, for the height I will provide 4, and for the margin I will provide 3. Then for the border radius let's provide 5, and here let's provide a color. Let me provide a background color, and for the background color I will get the color from our colors constant, and there we have the primary color. So here in the colors constant we have different colors that I can get here. So that is how it is looking right now. So this will be our selected items color. So instead of this, let me use this gray color. So now it is looking good that nothing is selected. I need to provide the pagination index so that it renders dynamically. So now here I need to update the pagination index. So for that I need to provide viewability config callback pairs, and let me create a reference for that with the same name, and I need to use ref here as this will be a reference, and here we need to provide the viewability config and on viewable items changed. Now let me create these two. First I will create viewability config and let me provide that configuration item visible percent threshold 50. Then let's create this on viewable item changed, and here it will take viewable items as prop, and it will be type of view token which needs to be imported from React Native, and it will be array of it. Then we need to check if viewable items 0 index not equal to undefined and viewable items 0 index not equal to null. If this is the case, so if this condition met, then we will set the pagination index. To set it we need to create a state of it, so it will be pagination index, set pagination index, and it will be use state which needs to be imported from React, and by default the value is set to 0. Now here I need to set the pagination index, and it will be viewable items 0 index image list dot length. So by this we are setting the pagination index. So here for this viewable config callback pairs we need to set this, so it will be viewability config callback pairs dot current to point to this reference, and by this we are going to update the pagination index. So here I can provide the pagination index. Now save it, and here we are getting the pagination index. So here I can provide the color dynamically, the background color dynamically. Let's check if props.pagination index is matching with the index. If it is matching with the index, then we will set the colors to primary color, otherwise it will be our gray color which we have used. Now save it. So now I can see that it is being colored. Now it is working perfectly well, right? And for the scrolling, here I can provide scroll event throttle as 16 for smooth scrolling. Now as I have provided the pagination dots here properly, I need to provide the number. Here we have the number for the pagination, so now I can create that after this view. So let's create another view, and here let me get rid of this background color because this background color is doing nothing, as here we are providing the background color dynamically, right? Now for this view let's provide a style, and let me name it as pagination number container. Then let's create another view for pagination number box, and within it I will provide the text, and this text would be kind of like this 1 by 3. So out of 3 it is 1 or 2 or 3. So right now it would be 3 by 3, and this one would be 1 by 3, right? So let me create the pagination number container, and for the position of it, it will be absolute. Then for the align items, it will be flex end. For the width of it, I will provide 100%, and then for the padding right, I will provide 20. So that's how it is positioned here. Now after that we need to design this box. This positioned it. Now we have this box, so now we need to design it. So here let's provide a background color, and the background color would be, I will add another color in our colors constant. So here I will create extra light gray, and here I will provide this color. Now save it. Now let's close it. So here let me call that extra light gray. Now after that let's provide padding horizontal 8. For padding vertical I will provide 2. Let me provide the border radius here. I have made the mistake here. Okay, so that is the color. I haven't provided the hash here before, so that's why it was not working. Now it is working. Now we need to provide the style for the text. It is pagination text. So for the pagination text color, it will be primary color, and for the font size of it I will use 12, and now it needs to be dynamic. So here first for these three I will provide props dot items dot length, so length of the item, and here it will be the current pagination index, so it will be props dot pagination index. Now save it. So here we can see it is starting from 0. That is okay for the functionality, but to display it we need to make it +1. So now it is fine. So this image slider is complete. Now after this image slider we need to provide other details of the product. So for that, here I'm going to provide all the details, and that would be within a view, and I will name it as container, and then after this image we will have the product rating. Let me create the view, and that view would be for rating wrapper, and within it we need to provide the rating. Let me create the container. So first for the container I need to provide padding horizontal, and it will be 20. Now for the rating wrapper I will provide flex direction row, align item center, and justify content center. Then for the margin bottom I will provide 5 pixel. And now after this I need to provide the style for the rating. But before that, before the rating, I need to provide an icon. So I will import the icon from vector icons. Then let's provide star icon, and the size of it 20, and this is the color which I will provide for the icon. And here within the rating wrapper I will provide another icon here, which will be the favorite icon or bookmark icon. So that's why here I need to provide a view to wrap this rating review section, and then here I need to provide the heart icon, and I need to wrap it with touchable opacity. So now it's looking good. Now for this view I will provide rating wrapper style. So now it's looking good. Now for this star icon I will provide 18, and for this one I will provide 20. Now let's provide the style for this rating, and this one would be for this text. So here first it will be margin left 5. For the font size I will use 14. For the font weight I will use 400, and for the color I will use gray color. So now it is looking good. Now with the rating I will provide number of ratings. So here I can provide any kind of number. Let's provide 136. So now after this rating wrapper I need to provide the product title. For that I don't need any view, but I will need the text, and that will provide the product title, and this text style would be title. So let me create the title here, and for the title font size I will provide 20. For the font weight I will use 400. Now for the color I will provide black color, and let's provide a letter spacing 0.6. So now it is looking good. And for the line height let me provide this 32. After this title we will have the information related to the price of the product. So after this text let me create a view, and this view would be the price wrapper, and here I will provide the product price with the $sign. For the style of it I will provide style price. So here let's create the price wrapper. I will provide flex direction as row. For the align items I will provide center. For margin top I will provide 10, and then I will provide a gap of 5 pixel. And let's provide price. So for the price font size I will provide 18. For font weight I will provide 600, and for the color of it I will use black color. Now with the price I will provide the discounted information and the percentage off. So here this is the price, Now after the price, I will create a price discount section. That will be a view, and within it I will provide the discount text. It will be like this. Let me provide the style for this view, and I will name it as price discount, and for the text style I will name it as price discount text. So let me create the price discount. So for the background color of it, I will first provide the extra light gray color. Then let's provide a padding 5 pixel. Now then let's provide a border radius of 5. Now after that, let's provide price discount text style. For it, I will use font size 14. For the font weight, I will use 400, and for the color of it, I will use primary color. So that's how it is looking right now. And beside this price discount, I will provide the previous price. So right now we don't have any previous price, so I will just take the current price and I will add 2 to it. And let's provide a style for this text, and it will be old price. So that is the price, and let me provide style for the old price. I will provide font size of 16. Let's provide a font weight of 400, and here for the text decoration I will provide line through so that it will be strike off. Okay, like this. And let's provide a color here which will be the gray color. Yes, now it is looking good. Now after this price information, I need to provide the product description. Now let's provide the style for it. Let's create this description style. So first I will provide margin top 20, then I will provide font size 16 and the font weight and the color, and after that let's provide a letter spacing 0.6, and for the line height I will use 24. So now it is looking good. Then after this product description, I will provide few product variations such as color and sizes. So right now as I am creating the UI, I will just provide color and size here. With this UI, for actual data you can create various kind of variations. So after this text, let's create the view, and it will be product variation wrapper. Then after that, here we will have product variation type, and for the product variation type, here we need to provide the text. So it will be a color, so it will be product variation title, as it will be product variation color. So similarly we will have product variation size as well. So I have just copied it, and now let me create these styles first, and then after the title we will have different kind of variations. So for the color we will have different kind of variation component. For the size we will have different kind of variation component. So I will create those in a minute. First let me provide the styles for these. For the product variation wrapper, first I will provide flex direction row. Then for the margin top I will provide 20. For flex wrap I will provide wrap. Now after that let's create product variation type, and here first I need to provide width 50%. So it is like this. Then let's provide a gap of 5 pixel and margin bottom 10. Then for the product variation title, let's provide font size 16, font weight 500, and the color would be black. So now it is looking good. Now let's provide the variation component. So first it would be for color. So here first let me create a view which will hold the different kind of variation value. So I will name it product variation value wrapper, and within it I will create the value of the color. It will be product variation color value. Now let's create these styles. So first it will be flex direction row. Then let's provide align item center. For the gap I will provide 5. Now let's create product variation color value, and for it I will provide height and width 30. For border radius I will provide 15 to make it rounded, and for the background color I will use colors extra light gray. So here is the color variation. So let me copy it multiple times. Okay, so that's how it is. And here, as we are seeing that it is going outside of its size, so I need to provide flex wrap as wrap so that it goes at the bottom. Right now it is not properly visible because I have just provided a subtle color here. The actual color I will provide here. So here let me provide a background color. So now it is looking good. So similarly, let me provide the colors for each of these. So that's how it is looking right now. And for the selected color I will provide some style. So let me create a view, and this view would wrap the selected color. I assume that this one would be the selected color. So let me provide this style, and for the real values we can set it dynamically, right? So let me provide the border color, and this color would be our primary color. For the border width I will provide 1. For the border radius let me provide a bigger number, and for the padding I will provide 2. Now save it. So here we can see a ring which is indicating that it is the selected one. Now after that, here we have the size. So similarly we can create the different variation value for the size. So here first we need to provide the variation value wrapper, and then we will create the variation size value, and with that we need to provide the size value text. So different size value text I have provided here. So now let me create this product variation size value and size value text style. So here for the width I will provide 50, for the height I will provide 30, for the border radius I will provide 5, and then for the background color I will provide extra light gray, and the justify center and align item center. So here that is how it is looking right now. Now for the text, let's provide font size 12, font weight 500, and the color black. And here with it let me provide a border color light gray and a border width 1. So now it is looking much more prominent. Now for the selected one let me provide a different style. For the border color I will provide primary color. Okay, so this one is selected. Right now it is much more prominent. And similarly for the text also let me provide a color primary color, and let's provide a font weight bold. So now we can see that it is looking good, that it is being selected. And right now we are seeing a problem that we cannot scroll it, so that we can fix easily by providing scroll view here instead of this view. So this scroll view needs to be closed here, and this scroll view needs to be imported from React Native. Okay, so now it is looking good. Now with that this design is complete. Now I want to customize this top. So for that let me provide React fragment here, and here let's provide stack screen to customize our header. So this stack needs to be imported from export outer. And now here for the options, first I need to provide the title product details, then I will make the header transparent, so set it to true. So now it goes on top of it. So we need to provide a margin here, and for that we need to get the header height, and we can get the header height from React navigation elements. We can get use header height hook, and from this hook we can get the header height. Now for this scroll view style we need to provide margin top header height. So now it is looking good. Now with that I need to provide header left, and here I need to provide icon. I will provide arrow back. For the size of it, I will provide 24, and for the color of it, I will provide black color. So now it is looking good, but it is not functional. So I need to provide the functionality to go back to previous screen, and that I can provide by touchable opacity, and it will be like this. So on press router back, and this router needs to be imported from expo router. Okay, we can get this back function from this router. So now if I click here, then we are back to our previous page, right? So that's how it is. And now for the header right, here also let's provide a touchable opacity, and here let's provide cart icon. So that's how it is, right? So now it is looking good. The screen is almost complete. We are just left with one element, which will be the buttons at the bottom. And for that, here after this scroll view, we need to create a view which will be button wrapper, and then we will have the touchable opacity. Then let's provide style, and it will be styles.button wrapper. Similarly, here it will be styles.button. Then it will be a text add to cart, and that needs to be wrapped within the text. Okay, so similarly we will have two buttons like this. So now let's create this button wrapper. So here for the button wrapper, let me provide position absolute. For the height of it, I will provide 90. For padding, I will provide 20, and it will be bottom 0. And for the width of it, I will use 100%. For the background color, I will provide color white. For the flex direction, I will use row, and then I will provide a gap of 10 pixel. Now after that, let's create the button. So first it will be flex 1, so that both of these button gets equal size. For the background color, I will provide primary color. For the height of it, I will use 40, and then justify content center, align item center, border radius 5, and I will provide gap 5 as well. So that's how it is looking right now. And for the text, I need to provide the button text. So let me create the button text here, and here for the font size, I will provide 16. For the font weight, I will provide 500, and this is the color which I am providing, which is white. So let me provide the style here. So it will be button text. So now it is looking good, but I want to change the style of this particular button, so I can provide that customization here. So here let me provide a background color white. For the border color, I will provide primary color. For border width, I will use 1. Now for this text also, let me provide a different style, which will be the primary color. So now it is looking good. Now let me change the text of this as buy now. So this is the buy now button, and this is the add to cart button. And for add to cart button, I will provide icon, and the icon would be the cart outline. The size is 20 and the color is black. Okay, let me change the color to primary color. And for the button, let me provide flex direction row. So now it is looking good, right? And with this, I want to provide a shadow here. So here first I can provide elevation 5. So this one will work for Android, and then I can customize the shadow for the iOS by providing the shadow color as black, and then shadow offset, shadow opacity, shadow radius, all of this information. So now save it. So with this, here I have provided a beautiful shadow which is looking pretty good. So now with that, we are completed with the design of this. And now if I look here, then I can see that this product variation section is not properly visible, and that is because it is having the full height, and at the bottom we have this section which is blocking that particular space. So we need to provide some margin bottom to this scroll view. So here let's provide a margin bottom, and that margin bottom would be similar to the height of this footer section, and that is 90. So now save it. After saving, here we can see that now it is showing perfectly, right? So for the other products also, let's see. So it is working perfectly well, right? Now it is working perfectly well for this section. Now let's go to another section. So here if I see this product, then we are seeing some warning, and here we can see that it is a warning from Axios, and the status code is 404. So that means not found. And why is that? And let me check. So this is for all the products in this section, right? But for these products, here we can see the products properly. And why is that? And that is because here we are getting the response from the sell product. We are not getting response for the normal products, which is here. So that is being handled here in this index file in the tabs directory. So here we can see we have the flash sale products and the product list product, and for both of the products we have the sell products and the products, which is a different kind of things. So here we are having the products, which is a different endpoint, and for the sell products we have different endpoints. And here also we can see that we have the sell products and the products endpoint. So these are the two different endpoints from which we are displaying the data here, right? So we need to handle that. We need to handle this API call dynamically, and that we can do from here. So here we are passing the ID. So we are passing the ID parameter to the product details screen here. So from here we need to pass another parameter, which will be the product type. So here in the href we need to pass multiple parameters. So when we need to pass the multiple parameters, that time we cannot provide href like this. We need to configure it differently. So let me delete it, and here we need to provide the path name, and here the path name would be product details / ID like this, and this is the same as the file name as we have provided here, right? It is not the ID, the actual ID which we were providing previously. That was providing the value of that ID, which was the parameter. But right now we are customizing the parameters, so that's why here we need to provide the path name, and path name will include the file name as it is. Okay, now we need to provide the parameters, and that we can provide as params, and here within this curly bracket we can provide the parameters, and first parameter would be the ID, and that would be item ID. So we are passing the ID for this one. Right now this is the same as we have provided previously. Now we need to provide another parameter, which is the product type. So we need to pass the product type here. So we need to get the product type first. So here for the type definition, let's define the product type, and the product type would be string. So let me check here. In the index we have the sell product and the normal product. So these are the two types of product we are displaying, and for that we want to have this product type. So by providing the string type definition, we can provide any kind of string here, but we don't need it, and that will make it more confusing. So to make it simple and error free, we can define the product type here, so that we can provide product type only those two. So here let me do that. So first we will have the sell product type, and the another one would be regular. So these are the two product type which we can pass as a prop to product item component. So here let's take the product type prop, and here we need to pass that parameter. So we are passing the product type parameter to the product details, that means in the ID, but we need to provide this product type value. So here we have the flash sale. So let's go to the flash sale. So here in the flash sale we have the product item. So for the product item we need to provide the product type, and here we can see we have only two options available. regular and the cell which we have defined. If I provide any kind of other string, then it will display an error, right? And that is exactly how I wanted. That's why I have provided the product type definition like this, right? Now set the product type properly here. So that is the cell product type. Now save it. Now the flash sale is complete. I can close it. Now let's go to product list, and this one would be for this section. Okay, so here for the product list, here we have product items in two sections. First we need to provide product type regular, and for this one also we need to provide regular. So now let's see, this one is working perfectly well as it was working before, right? But let's see this one. Okay, it is still showing some error. Yeah, it will display the error because I have defined the product type but I haven't called the API dynamically. So here we need to get the parameter. So let me go back and close this one. Now here we need to get the parameter, and that parameter is product type, and based on the product type, here we need to provide the API endpoint dynamically. So here let's check for the product type. If the product type is equal to cell, then we will have the cell product endpoint. Otherwise we will have this products endpoint. So we have provided it dynamically. Now let's save it. Let's see. So it is working perfectly well now, right? So it is working for this flash sale section, and for this section also it is working perfectly well, right? So that's how we can get different type of product. Now if I see different products, then I can see that the screen is designed completely and all the things are appearing properly, but it is displaying all the information suddenly. I want to make it little bit more beautifully presented. I want to provide some animation to it. So I want to provide animation to all of these components separately. So that means for this image slider, I want to provide animation to it. I want to provide animation to this section, this title, this price, this description separately. So let's provide that. So for this first section, I need to provide the animation, and that I can provide by animated from React Native reanimated. So now let's wrap this image slider with animated view. So that's how I have wrapped it. And now here let's provide the animation, and the animation I want to provide is fade in down, and this fade in down is also needs to be imported from React Native reanimated. In fade in down, let's provide a delay 300 millisecond, and then duration for the animation would be 500 millisecond. Now let's save it. So that's how it will appear. Now after that, I want to provide animation in this section, so that is the rating wrapper. So here instead of view, it would be animated view. Let's close that, and here let's provide the entering animation, and here also it will be fade in down animation. Here I want to provide a delay, and this delay would take little more time. So here first I have provided 300 millisecond. For this one I will provide 500 millisecond. Then for the duration, I will provide the same duration, which is 500 millisecond. So now if I check, then first it is appearing this section, then it will appear the next section. Okay, so that's how it is appearing. So similarly, I want to provide the animation for this title. So let's provide animated text. Let's close that, and here let's provide the entering animation, and for this one also it will be similar kind of 200 millisecond more delay. So previously I have added 500, here it is 700. The duration is the same for the animation. Now save it. So now let me provide the animation, the similar kind of animation for all of these components quickly. So here for the section also it would be animated view. Let's close that, and here it would be entering animation, and here the delay would be 900 millisecond. The duration would be the same. After that, animated text. Here I have provided 900, then 1100. Then for this product variation complete section, I will provide single animation, and it needs to be closed here, and here it would be fade in down delay 1300. Okay, so now let's see. So that's how it is appearing, right? So it is looking pretty good in my opinion. But right now if I look into this bottom part, then we can see that it is already present, but I want to provide an animation to it also. So let's go to this section, and this one would be animated view, and here let's provide entering animation. But for this one I will not provide the same animation. I will provide a different animation which is slide in down, and this one also needs to be imported from React Native reanimated. Now let's provide a delay here, and for this one I will provide 500 millisecond delay. It will not synchronize with other sections, it will appear independently, and it will have little bit of delay, so that's why I have provided 500 millisecond. Now let's provide a duration, and the duration would be 500 millisecond. Now save it. So now let's see. So that's how it is appearing, right? And it is looking good in my opinion. So that's how we have done this complete section. Now we need to work on other screens. So first we have the explore screen. Now let's work into it. So for that we need to go to the explore tsx file, and here we need to create that. So here for this explore screen, first we need to provide the flat list, and this flat list needs to be imported from React Native. Now for the flat list data, I need to provide the data, and data will come from the categories. So it will be similar to the categories which we have created on the home screen. So here I can copy this code and paste it here, and here I don't need this is loading, and let's import this Axios, and here we need to create the categories state. So let's create that categories state, and it will be type of category type. So we need to import the category type, and let's import the use state from React as well. So it is the array of category type, so there will be multiple categories, right? So let's provide the categories as data, and then for the key extractor I need to provide the item ID to string, and then finally we need to render item. So here for the render item I can get the item and index like this, and then I can output the result for each of the item. So here first I want to provide the item name. Now save it. Now after saving we are not seeing anything, and that is because we are not calling the get categories. We need to call the get categories in use effect hook, and this use effect hook needs to be imported from React. So now within this use effect hook let's call the get categories function. Now save it. Now after saving, here we can see item names are present. So now we need to design it. So here we are providing the data, but first I need to provide a header here, and for that here I can provide a React fragment, and within it let's provide stack from export outer, and for the screen options I can customize the header. So first let's provide header shown as true to display the header, and I will make this header as transparent. Let's set it to true as well. So now we can see that it is now going to the top, but we are having the header. Now I need to fix that, and I can do that by getting the header height and I can get the header height from use header height, and this use header height hook needs to be imported from React navigation element. Okay, so now for this container view, let's provide margin top header height. So now it is looking good. Now for this container, I don't want these styles. Instead of it, I will provide padding horizontal 20. Now here for this render item view, I will provide a style called item wrapper, and here I want to provide the image. The image needs to be imported from React Native, and for this image source URI, I will provide item image, and for the style of it, I will provide width and height 100 pixel. So here we can see the image. Now let's provide some style for the text, and it would be item title. So now let's provide the item wrapper style first. So here it would be flex direction row. Then for the justify center, I will provide space between. For the align items, I will provide center. For background color, I will provide colors, and this color needs to be imported from our colors constant, and the background color would be extra gray. Now I want to provide a padding of 10 pixel. Then let's provide a border radius of 10, and finally a margin bottom of 20. So now we can see that it is looking good. Now let's provide some style for the item title. So it would be font size 16. Then for the font weight, I will use 500, and for the color I will use black color. And for this, let's provide a border radius of 10. Now it is looking good, and with that I don't want to provide this scroll indicator, so that's why I will provide vertical scroll indicator as false. So now it's looking good. So the explore screen is done. Now let's go to the notification screen, and for the notification it will also be similar like this. So here also we need to provide the stack screen and this margin top header height. So I can copy these things from here, and let's provide it here, and let's import it from export outer. So now it is looking like this, and after that let's get the header height from use header height, and let's import that use header height from React navigation elements. And now let's get rid of these styles. So now let's provide that margin top header height. Okay, and for this one also I will provide padding horizontal 20. So the basic structure is done. Now for the notification, we have this notifications endpoint. From that we need to get the notifications data. So here let's create get notifications, and it will be an async function, and here the URL would be this notifications, which is this one. Now let's get the response, and for the response we need to provide await, then Axios get URL, and this Axios needs to be imported from Axios. So we got it. Now let's output the response in the console. So this is our console notification response. Okay, and we need to call this in use effect. After saving, here we can see notification response. It is working perfectly well. Now we need to create a state, and let's call it notifications, and we can set notifications like this, and here let's provide use state hook, and by default it will be an empty array, and here we need to provide the type of it. Okay, within this angle bracket we need to provide the type of it, and here within the type, here I haven't provided the type yet, so I need to create that, and that I can create from the data. So I can copy the data, and let's open the command palette, and here I'm going to use this JSON to TS convert from clipboard. So in the clipboard I have already copied the JSON data. Now with this extension I can create the type definition of it easily. So here it has been created. Now let's make it notification type and I need to export it. Now similarly, let me create another one which is the cart. So let me copy it, and here similarly let's convert from clipboard JSON to TS. So here I will name it as cart item type and let's export it as well. So these are the types which will be required, and I have created it now. Now I can close it. So here for this notification I can get notification type from our types file, and it would be array of it. Now let's set the notification with the response data. Now instead of this text I need to provide flat list, and this flat list needs to be imported from React Native. Let's provide the data, and the data would be the notification. Then for the key extractor, let's provide the item ID to string, and then let's provide render item. Here we will get the item and index. Let's output the item title first. So here it is. So with the title I want to display the message. Then here we can see we have the timestamp. So with the title it will display the timestamp and the message, and let's provide an icon. I will provide icons, and for the icon I will provide notifications outline, and the size of it would be 20, and here we need to import the colors from our colors constant. So that is the icon, and let's wrap this section with another view, and let's name it as notification info. Let's call this as notification wrapper, this complete wrapper view, and this view which is holding the icon, let's name it as notification icon. So now let's create the notification wrapper first. So for the notification wrapper, first it would be flex direction row. Then for the align items I will provide center. For padding I will provide 10. For margin bottom I will provide 10 as well. So now it is looking like this. Now let's provide a border and background color here. So first let's provide a border width, and for the border width I will provide hairline width. For the border color I will use light gray. For the background color I will provide extra light gray, and for the border radius I will use 5 pixel. So that's how it is looking right now. Now for the notification icon, let's provide width and height 40 pixel. We need to provide justify content center, align item center. So now it is looking good. Now I need to position these three text properly. So here first we need to provide the title, and at the right side we need to provide the timestamp, and then we will have the notification message. So for that, here we have the notification info, and these two things we need to wrap within another view, and this thing needs to be like this. Now let's provide style for this title. So it would be notification title, and then let's provide notification message. So let's create the notification info. So the notification info would be flex 1. Now it is taking full available space. Now let's create notification title. For the notification title I will provide font size 16, font weight 500, and the color black. For the notification message the font size would be 14, but for the color I will use gray color. Okay, now I want to provide a margin top 5. For line height I will use 20. So now it is looking good. So the similar kind of style I can provide for timestamp as well. So let me provide that here. So now it is also looking good, but they are not properly aligned. So for that, here I can make it align center. So now it is properly aligned, right? Now I want to increase the number of notification here so that it looks good. So now I have increase the number here. Now let's reload it. Okay, so that's how it is looking right now. So now for both of these screens I need to provide some animation, and that I can provide here by making it animated view. So this animated needs to be imported from React Native reanimated. Now let's close it here. Now let's provide the entering animation, and here I will provide fade in down animation, which needs to be imported from React Native reanimated. And then let's provide a delay, and here the delay would be 300 millisecond plus index multiplied by 100. So that means it will dynamic the delay for each of the item. And then let's provide a duration 500 for the animation. So now let's reload it. So that's how it is appearing. So it is dynamic by this index multiplied by 100 plus with this 300. For the first item it will delay 300 millisecond. Then for the second item it will add index multiplied by 100 to this 300. So that's how it is appearing, right? Now let's provide similar thing for the explore as well. So here let's provide animated view, and let's provide entering, and here it will be fade in down, delay 300 plus index, and duration would be 500. Let's import it from the React Native reanimated. Now let's save it. So that's how it is appearing, right? So it's looking good. Now let's create the cart screen. So here first we need to get the cart items. So for that let's create the function called get cart data, and it would be async function. And here let's first create the URL for the API call, and here we have the URL, this cart that I have used over here. Now after that we need to get the response, and for this response we need to await, and then we need to import Axios from Axios, and then let's get the data from the URL. Let's output it in the console. Now to call it we need to get the help of use effect hook, and this use effect needs to be imported from React. Now let's call it within this use effect hook. So now here we should get the response. So let's name it as cart data. So we are getting the cart data response here. So this is working perfectly well. Now let's create a state called cart items, and now I need to set the cart items. Let's get the help of use state hook to create this state, and here it would be type of cart item type, and it would be array of it. After that let's set the cart item with the response data, and now here we can output it in the flat list. For the data we need to provide cart item. For the key extractor we need to provide the item ID to string. Now after that let's provide render item, and here let's output the item title. So here we can see that now instead of this text I want to display another component, and that is called cart item. And here I will take the item prop, and this item prop would be type of cart item type. So here let's provide the item title. So instead of this text title, here I will call the cart item, and for the cart item I will pass the item. So now still it is the same, so that's fine. Now let's create a header here, and for that let's import stack from export outer, and for this stack screen options header shown true and header transparent true. So here is the cart header. Now let's get the header height, and let's import this use header height hook from React navigation element. Now let's use that here. So now it is done. Now after that we need to focus into this cart item. So here first we need to provide the image, and that will be our product image. So for the item source URI, let's provide item image, and for this style let's provide width 100, height 100. So here we can see that item. Now let's get rid of this and let's provide padding horizontal 20. After that we need to provide the information of the cart item. So for that here I will create a view, and within the view I will provide the title, and let's name it as item info wrapper, and then let's display the price. And for the price here I will provide the $sign. So now let's create the item info wrapper, and for the item info wrapper first it would be flex direction row, then align item center. So that style we need to provide here for this complete wrapper view. So it would be item wrapper. So instead of the item info wrapper it would be item wrapper. Now let's provide a padding 10, margin bottom 10. For border width I will provide this hairline width. For the border color I will use light gray color. Now for the border radius I will provide 5 pixel. So that's how it is looking right now. And now let's provide a style here. Instead of these two styles, let me call it item image, and let's provide the styles here. So here the width would be 100 and the height would be 100 as well. Now for the border radius I will provide 5, and for margin right I will provide 10. So now it is looking good. It is much better now. Now for the item info wrapper let's provide flex 1, and for the align self I need to make it flex start so that it would position it at the top. So now it's looking good. Now after that I will provide a gap of 10 pixel. So it is much better now. And after that I will provide style item text, and I will provide the same style for both of these. Now let's create this item text. For the font size I will provide 16. For font weight I will provide 500. For the color I will use black color. Now after that, after this pricing, here I will provide few buttons. So first I will provide a trash icon, then I will provide quantity control. So how much quantity of this particular product you want or you have chosen, that will be presented here, and you can increase and decrease it. And then here I will provide a bookmark icon or the heart icon. For that here I need to create a view, and this view would be item control wrapper, and then I will first provide the icon which will be the trash icon. So here it will be trash outline, and for the size of it I will use 20, and for the color of it I will use red color. Okay, so this touchable opacity needs to be imported from React Native. So let me delete it. Now save it. So here is the button, right? Now after that I need to create a view, and this view would be the quantity control wrapper, and here I will provide the control for the quantity. So here first I will provide the touchable opacity, then within the touchable opacity I will provide icons, and for the icon name I will provide remove outline. And now let's close the touchable opacity here. Then I need to provide the quantity. So here it will be like this, and after that again we will need to provide a button like this, and it will be add outline, and it will have similar properties. So now save it. And now I need to provide a style for these buttons. It would be quantity control. So let me copy it from here and let's paste it here. So now let me create these styles first, And for the item control wrapper, first I need to provide the flex direction row so that these three would be in a row, and then I need to provide the align item center and justify space between, but right now I will comment it out. Now these two items beside each other, so that means this trash icon and this quantity control wrapper. Now after that, let's create quantity control wrapper, and for the quantity control wrapper, here also it would be flex direction row for these three items, align item center and a gap, and I will make this gap little bit bigger, 15. So it is applying only in these three for this quantity control, and this is the quantity control. Now after this, here we have the quantity control, so that means this plus and minus button. So let's create that. So here first I will provide a padding of 5, then let's provide a border width 1, a border color of light gray, and a border radius of 5. So now these buttons are prominent. And now finally here I want to provide another icon which will be similar to this. So let me copy it from here, and after this quantity control wrapper, let me provide that, and here it would be heart outline. For this one I will provide color black. Now we need to position this properly, and for that I need to use this space between. So now these are positioned properly, right? So it is working perfectly well. Now here at the bottom I want to provide the checkout button. So for that, after this flat list view, I will create another view and I will call it as footer, and here I will have two information. The first one would be the checkout button, and at the left side I will display the total amount. So here first I will have a view, and this view would be price info wrapper, and here I will provide a text total $100. So whatever the amount would be, that would be presented here. So let's provide a style. So here it is total text. Now after this view I need to create the button, the checkout button. So it would be touchable opacity checkout button, and I need to provide the checkout text. After that I need to close the touchable opacity, and it would be checkout button text. So now let's create this footer and all other styles. So here for the footer, so here we can see already we have the data present at the bottom, so we need to design it properly. So first I need to provide flex direction row so that these two items will be beside each other. Then I will provide a padding 20, and let's provide a background color white color. So now it is looking good. Now after that we have the price info wrapper, which is this total. So for this I will provide flex 1, and with that I have this checkout button. So for the checkout button also I will provide flex 1. Okay, so now they have equal space. Now after this price info wrapper we have this total text, and for the total text I will provide the font size 16, 500 font weight, and the black color. Now for the price info wrapper I need to provide a justify content center to make it center align properly. Now for the checkout button, let's provide a background color of the primary color. Let's provide height 40. Then let's provide justify content center and align item center, and the border radius is 5. Now for the checkout button text, let's provide font size 16, color white, and 500 font weight. So now it's looking good, right? So that's how it is looking right now. Now for this cart data also, let me copy it and duplicate it again, and let me change the ID number like this so that the content fills the screen properly, so that we can have a complete view how it will look for different scenarios. Okay, so here we can see that we are having a proper view of it, right? So this particular section is not blocking anything. So that's how we have completed this section. Now here also I can provide the animation similar how we have provided here. So here for this cart item we can wrap it with animated view, and the animated will be from React Native reanimated, and let's close it here. And now for this animated view entering, let's provide the animation fade in down, and it needs to be imported, and then this thing 300 plus index multiplied by 100, so that for each of the item it becomes dynamic delay. So now save it. So that's how it is appearing. So we are done with this one also. Now finally we are left with the profile. So now for the profile screen, here also similarly we need to create the header first, so that I can create by stack screen options header shown true and header transparent as true. Now after that let's get rid of these styles and let's provide the header height. So let's create the header height, and I need to import the use header height hook from React navigation elements, and let's use that here. Now let's provide padding horizontal 20, and then let's create a view, and within this view first I need to provide the image, and this image needs to be imported from React Native, and here I need to display the profile image. So here we can see for the bottom tab I have already provided that image, so I need to display that image, and that image is coming from these icons. So here let me copy this URL, and here let's use that like this. Now for the style of it I will use width 100, height 100, and for the border radius it will be 50. Okay, and let's make it align item center, and instead of padding horizontal let's make it padding, so that here also I can get some padding. Now after this image let's provide the name of the user, and here let's provide the name John Doe. Let's provide a style username like this. Instead of 600 I will make it 500, and for the background color I will use colors black. Okay, it will not be background color, it would be color. After that we will have few buttons that I will create after this view, and I will name it as button wrapper, and let's create a button touchable opacity, and let's name it as style button, and within it let's provide a text. So first I will provide your order, and for this style I will use button text, and with it I will use an icon, and I will use this icon. Now let's save it. After saving I need to design it. First let's create the button wrapper. I will provide margin top 20, let's provide a gap of 10, then let's create the button. So let's provide padding 10. For the border color I will provide light gray color. For the border width I will use 1 pixel. For border radius I will use 5. For the flex direction I will use row. For align items it would be center, and for the gap it will be 10, like this. Okay, now for the button text I will provide font size 14, font weight 500, and color black. So now it is looking good. Now I need to copy it multiple times, and let me create the buttons. So after the order it will be wish list, and for the icon I will use heart outline. So let me make other buttons quickly. Okay, So that's how I have created all these buttons. So here we are completed with all of these things, right? Okay, so the product is not showing properly. Let me reload it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it is little bit weird. We are done with it, but right now it is not showing the product details. Okay, so now it is working. Let's see. So here it is. Right, so it is working for every products right now perfectly well, and it was not working previously because I don't know what is the reason, but what I did, I can tell you that I closed the server and rerun the project again, and also along with that I have restarted this JSON server as well. So by restarting both of these server, it is now started working. So that's how we have done this project completely. So that is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and let me know by commenting down below. If you have any kind of suggestion for me, then also let me know, and don't forget to share this tutorial with your friends and colleagues, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.